What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. Basically, we're gonna keep doing these type of streams. I'm not gonna do the recording videos. I basically want to talk to you guys in a live format. And if you guys are here for the first time, just like you'll see momentarily, please like, share, comment, subscribe, wherever you see in this at, whether it be Twitter, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Facebook. If you heard about it, word of mouth, whatever it is, whatever kind of support you can lend to me, that would be deeply appreciated. Even if you come out and say, hey, you don't like it, some kind of response to let me know so I can try and make these things better. So before we go too hard and too heavy into it, I'm gonna let some people come in. If somebody got some comments or whatever it is, maybe some people are still at church. Hey, I recommend you don't sneak on your phone while the pastor's preaching or whatever, and try and check this out. It's all going to be recorded, so you can turn around and come back on and watch it once you get out of service. Maybe you're just not waking up. Maybe you had a great eventful night last night, and so now you're recovering. Again, you don't have to watch it right off rip. It's going to be recorded, so you'll basically be able to see this again, and then I'm going to share it once I'm done. So you guys looked at the thumbnail. The thumbnail is basically we're going to talk about the Ravens' offensive defense and what could they use more. Could it be more defense? Could it be more offense? I think it's a little bit of a mixture of both. There's one thing that I really want the Ravens to do on offense, and there's some things I want the Ravens to do on defense. And we'll get into that a little bit later once I pull up my slides. So if you're here for the first time, this is the Ravens Sit Rep. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter, and we're on Facebook. So I have different names and so forth because, again, when we play the game of social media, a lot of people have different names and so forth, and a lot of people already had took the tag name or whatnot, Raven Sit Rep. So I wasn't able to get it for every particular platform. But as you guys see down here below, I got all my different little tags or either usernames, if you want to call it that. And so whatever it is, however it is you want to follow me or get in contact with me, maybe you got a question, you got a suggestion about a next video, please feel free to message me. I'm not hard to get in contact with. If you got something that you think I should talk about or dive into, please feel free to message me either on one of those particular platforms, or I have a Gmail that's on the far right as you're looking at the screen. It's ravensitrep21@gmail.com. So, all right. So enough about the intros and stuff like that. So now we're going to talk about today's video and what kind of made me want to talk about today's video. What made me want to talk about today's video? Because I'm in all different kind of spaces, all on social media. People are saying, hey, the Ravens need more offense. The Ravens need more defense. Man, they need better coaching. They need everything. So for me, I'm going to just make it real simple. I'm going to ask the question, if the Ravens score one more touchdown per game throughout the year, what does their record look like? What does their record look like? And I'll tell you, the Ravens are 16-1 or 16-1. If that happens, they score one more touchdown, they're 16-1. So what does that mean? A lot of games the Ravens played were close when it comes down to them losing or them winning. Sometimes the Ravens lost in a dime seconds. The Ravens couldn't hold the lead and so forth. So one or two more first downs, a little bit more time of possession, the Ravens could have probably won those games or conserved those leads and so forth that they had in certain games. Game case in point, Miami, Buffalo, New York, Jacksonville. There's a lot of games the Ravens were winning, and then for some odd reason, whether it was coaching, whether it was execution, a combination of both, the Ravens surrendered those leads, and we were not victors in those particular games. So at the end of the day, we could use some different things. Defense. I'm gonna make a case for the defense, and we're gonna make a case for the offense as well. So for me, the defense could use some more turnovers. When I'm talking about turnovers, I'm talking about turnovers not just the hey, okay, we're getting an interception or fumble recovery or something like that. I mean turnovers that lead to points or turnovers that are points, defensive touchdowns. Because if you remember, the Ravens defense were at its best once we were able to get those, not just turn people over, but either score within 1 or 2 plays of that turnover, or that particular turnover itself was a touchdown. Pick six, fumble recovery for a touchdown, those type of things. So that's the thing that I want the Ravens to kind of emphasize, whether it be tip drill, whether it be punch out drill, and return the ball, return it to the score, get in the end zone. And the reason why I would like for them to try and focus on that, and I got it, you can't really kind of put an emphasis on it in practice or whatnot, but you can still work it. Hey, okay, look, when I get the ball in my hand, where is the convoy headed? How can I hurry up and get there? Or when I get it, it's scoop, I'm out. I'm not looking at anything. I'm just running. I'm going. Because if you do that, now you turn around, you take the pressure off the offense almost immediately. Because think about it, if we had a 10-point lead and the defense turned somebody over and they got 6 points, that's another pendulum swing. That's a pendulum swing right there when it comes down to Big Mo. If those type of pendulum swings are in our favor, now we're talking about the game is flipping on top of his head. Because we know in the NFL, a 10-point lead is not safe. 10-point lead is technically 2 possessions, but we know 1 possession, we score, then we get a 3, and now we don't even have to get a turnover. We right back in the game, or we still within striking distance. So, all right. And for the offense, what I would like for the offense to do, the offense is they have a good time of possession. It's the red zone goals. As you guys are going to see on the slides, I only have 4 slides, but you're going to see when it comes down to the Ravens struggle. The Ravens held the ball. The Ravens were able to move the ball, run decently. They was able to pass decently. They're probably the most balanced team. I didn't look at the exact numbers, but it's like 49% to 50%, 50 points something percent. So it's basically even kill across the board when it comes down to the offensive play calls. And that was with an offensive coordinator that everybody really didn't jive with, and they probably thought, hey, all he did was run. And all actually, he passed and ran the equal amount. The difference is about effectiveness. What's effective? What's going to be effective? Taking our particular chances, and we're able to capitalize off those particular chances, not just pass just to pass because we want to throw people off, but we need to pass to the weaknesses of the defense and not just going out there throwing 3 and 4 yard dumps on 3rd down and 8. So, all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up these slides, and then we will go from there. All right. So first slide is for the offense, and for the offense. So basically, what I did with these particular things is I basically came up with these particular numbers because these particular numbers right here are something that stands out to me. Not just, hey, okay, if you just turn around and say, hey, okay, look, I want this particular thing, whether it be pass rush or whether it be a better receivers or whatever, something that it got to be something that fits what it is that you're talking about. So basically everything plugs in. So when it comes down to that, you got to sit here and say to yourself, okay, I need a better pass rush. Okay, why do I need the pass rush? I need a better pass rush because, hey, on 3rd down, we couldn't get home. Or on 3rd and short or 4th and short or whatever, we didn't get what we needed to get. Or 3rd and long, we didn't get home many of times. So now we have an interchangeable lineup when it comes down to the particular guys that are coming in for pass rushing. So if we got 4 guys in the rotation, if you're saying, hey, okay, look, I need better pass rush because I want to strengthen up that particular passing rotation, a pass rush rotation, that's 100% fine because a team like the Eagles, they have done it. The difference is you can't, that particular pass rush got to remain effective no matter who they play. You cannot be nullified. You invest that much money in that team, and then now you say, okay, look, we have a void in the biggest game of our career with the Super Bowl. Our pass rush is not effective, or our linebackers are not effective, and so forth. All right. Give me 2 minutes. All right, let me check the comments right quick, see if anybody said anything. Okay. All right, no comments just yet. All right. So when it comes down to the offense, all right. So when it comes down to the offense, basically the points that we scored was 350 points. 350 points. It may seem like it's a lot when it comes down to a team scoring in the NFL, but we were 20th in the NFL with scoring points. The reason why this matters, the reason why this matters, because again, we all know it's a scoring happy league. If you can score touchdowns, you can pretty much hang with anybody, and you can basically have some of your particular flaws basically taken away or minimized. So if I score 45 points a game, people kind of overlook the fact that I don't have a decent pass rush, or people overlook the fact that I don't have a really good run game, and so forth. So as you score more and more points, you're able to mask some of your deficiencies or some of the limitations that you have as a team. And that's cool. It's cool until you play a team in the playoffs, and now that particular team highlights those exact weaknesses. So when it comes down to it, the points is cool, but if you're not getting those points, now we got other things that we can sit here and kind of look at and dissect. So passing first downs per game is 8.9 per game. That's 29th in the NFL. That's not going to get it done. And again, I'm not sitting saying, hey, look, we are in a short change situation, and we got a short change situation, third and four or second and two or whatever it may be. I'm not saying we got to force to pass the ball. I'm saying, hey, when we do pass it, let's go for the first down instead of dumping it down. We go for the first down. Now we're able to say, okay, look, our tendencies are changing at that point. And what I mean by tendencies, we're talking about when teams scout us, they know, oh, wait a minute, the Ravens can spread you out. They don't have to go, 3 tight end set to get the first down on the third and one and run the ball right up the gut. They can do it in a multiple different ways, a lot of different ways. So for me, when it came down to the Ravens, I think that there has to be some kind of emphasis on the yards per attempt, yards per catch, or whatever. Basically saying, look, when we need to take the short game, take the short game, but we also need to have an intermediate as well as a deep passing type of game to it. Because there were times Greg Roman was taking shots down the field and so forth, but there were also times that Greg Roman was super passive and super predictable. And I think that's one of the things that kind of hindered us as an offense. Now, obviously, we talk about the Lamar Jackson injuries and injuries to other players and stuff like that, which is fine. I understand that, but at the same time, the people that were there, we still should be able to move the ball. Probably not as good, but we still should be an effective offense, not basically one-sided. And then at some point, we wasn't even one-sided because then we lost our running backs. We lost our running backs. Then we didn't have running back. We didn't have a really good run game, and then we also didn't have a really good pass game. So he's kind of out there just winging it, if you will, because it just didn't look like we was really put together as an offense when it came down to when the injuries happened. So it's to the point when when Snoop got in, he was doing some stuff. He was making some throws, and it was surprising. It was like, I don't know about you guys, but it was surprising to me watching Snoop do some of the stuff he was doing. Not because I think he's limited or he's not Lamar Jackson, but with the fact that we haven't seen him have a package like that. Most of the time Snoop gets in the game, it's either, hey, the game is out of reach or somebody's injured. We don't really give them the reps. Hey, okay, look, hey, man, just to play, just a couple plays off for Lamar. All right, hey, here we go. Or just to throw off the defense. Hey, man, go ahead, Snoop, go ahead and get this particular play. Something like that. And now you don't have to do it every time. Something to confuse the defense, because then everybody knows you play Lamar Jackson differently than you would play Tyler Hunt. So, all right. So moving along, team rushing TDs percentage is 38.89%. That would be 15th in the NFL. We know that's not Raven territory. We don't like that. We don't want to be in that particular predicament. We want to be in a better situation than that, because we know without the run game, we are really, really one-dimensional, And that one dimension, we don't want that one dimension to be our Achilles heel, because as you guys see, we struggle in the pass game as well. So if we can't run it and we struggle in the pass game, it just doesn't spell it doesn't spell out to be a good thing for us when it comes down to the Ravens offense as a whole. And then we have that. Now we're talking about the defense getting gassed every game, because again, we're going 3 and out, or maybe 2 plays and then a pick or whatever, maybe, or even a fumble. So we got to continue to be balanced, because if we're not balanced, we're not fooling anybody. We're not fooling anybody. Everybody kind of knows the Ravens want to run, but they also don't account for the Ravens being able to pass the ball effectively. If the Ravens are able to pass the ball effectively as well as running, now we're talking about no predictability. No predictability. You don't know what the Ravens are going to do. And then when players are given an opportunity, players have to maximize those particular opportunities, because again, we're not going to throw it 700 times this year. I know that. I know that for a fact. We're not going to run the ball 600 times this year. I know that for a fact. Okay. So again, at some point, we got to sit here and say, okay, with that balance, we got to just make sure we know how to be calculated with what we're doing and moving forward. All right. So time of possession. This is excluding the any kind of overtime. So 52.06%, that would be 7th in the NFL. So again, we have the ball a lot. But we are not executing like we need to execute, particularly in the red zone. Okay, in the red zone percentage on touchdown scoring would be 44.44%. And that would be 30th in the NFL. 30th in the NFL. That means when we get to the red zone, we are relying on Justin Tucker, which is fine. He is an asset, right? But at some point, we're going to run out of that reliability with Justin Tucker. I'm not saying that he's going to start missing kicks or whatever it may be, but the guy is going to retire at some point. He's going to retire at some point, and we can't sit here and say that, so, okay, we can't continue to mask our red zone woes with kicking field goals with Justin Tucker. It's fine that we have that guy, but we need to formulate some kind of package, some kind of plan when we get there. How do whether we need to go fast, maybe we need to go huddle, no huddle, when we get in the red zone, anything to kind of shock the defense to where we're saying, okay, look, all right, we're not super predictable down here, because everybody kind of knows, hey, we get down here, look, we need to make sure Lamar Jackson doesn't get out the back door. We need to make sure we double Mark Andrews, and that's pretty much their game plan. We'll live with everybody else. So with that being said, keep doing what you're doing, trying to get people to think you're going to use Lamar Jackson or Mark Andrews. But in these particular plays, I want to highlight OBJ's skill. I want to highlight Zay Flowers' skill. I want to highlight Isaiah Likely's skill, or even Charlie Kolar. Is a package deal for him. We get 30 yards or less towards the goal line. All right, come on, Charlie Kolar, come on in and get you a couple reps. Because again, now it's saying, hey, okay, look, we know we can't play Charlie Kolar the same way we play Mark Andrews. We don't know what this guy's skill set looks like. That's what the defense may be saying. But the Ravens kind of know what they are, what his skill set is. So now we can turn around and put him in a situation where he's going to win, whether it be backside against a linebacker, or whether it be up the seam against the safety. So again, whichever one, we take that particular advantage of that particular defense week in and week out. And now when they see that, they don't know how to defend or who to defend, because now we have multiple options that we can go to when it comes down to the red zone. All right, so passing plays percentage and running play percentage that you guys see on the left of this particular slide. So when it comes down to these particular things, the passing plays is 49.82%. That's 30 in the NFL. And then the rushing play percentage is 50.18%. That's third in the NFL. The thing why this really, really matters is because if you look at the passing TDs per game, it's 1.2 passing TDs per game. Even though this number is low or whatnot, the thing that we got to remember is not every team in the NFL average 2 or more touchdowns. I think it's only 4 teams that average 2 or more passing touchdowns in the NFL. I want to say it was the Eagles, Giants, and No, I'm sorry, it's not the Giants. I think it's Eagle, Kansas City, and maybe San Francisco. Maybe. I have to look again. It's not that many teams, I know for sure. So, all right. So with that being said, the last thing I wanted to talk about on this particular slide was the 21st downs. The 21st downs in the NFL, I'm sorry, 21st downs per game, it will be 17th in the NFL. The highest is 29.8 first downs. I think it's Kansas City that has the most first downs per game. So why would I put something like that out here? The reason being is because the more first downs you get, it leads to the more touchdowns. You know, again, and then if you start in the goal line, there's up to 10 first down, and I'm sorry, 9 first downs that you can get. 9 first downs that you can get. Now, obviously, you're not going to get 9 first downs every drive, but if you focus on, hey, okay, for our game, we need to get 30 first downs for this game. Reason being, if we get 30 first downs in this game, that basically says, hey, okay, look, we have a really, really good chance of scoring more red zone touchdowns. If we shoot for the 30 first down mark per game. So that's my case for the offense. Okay, and then now I'm gonna have a case for the defense as well. So let me go back. All right. So the case for the defense, as you guys look at our numbers and stuff like that, I think we had 48 sacks this year. 48 sacks. And those 48 sacks, the 48 sacks, I believe it was top 10, maybe even top 5 in the NFL for team sacks. So sacks are not the issue. If you want to look at our pass rush win rate percentage, you want to look at our interceptions and stuff like that, whatever it is you want to look at, the Ravens are not dead last in all those categories, right? So the Ravens not being last in all those categories, it also means that, okay, look, can we be better? Sure, we could definitely be better. But is there a glaring need basically saying, hey, look, we're not going to be able to replicate this, or we should not be able to come close to this? We didn't have any astronomical numbers defensively, whether it be interception, fumble recovery, tackle for loss, any of that. We didn't have the astronomical type of numbers or historical seasons, if you will. Now, some players had some good seasons, which I think they can turn around and do the same thing or get close to it. Now, the difference is we have to have everybody firing on those type of cylinders. So if PQ and Roquan get over 100 tackles again, if Marlowe turns around and get five interceptions or 6 interceptions, that we're cooking with Crisco. If Tyus Bowser, Owe, and Ojabo all get 7.5 or more sacks, again, we're cooking with Crisco. Because again, we know we got other people that are going to fill roles, the Justin Madubuikes, the Travis Jones. I'm sorry. We got those guys that's going to do their job. They're going to fill their role, and then those guys kind of chip in with 4 sacks here and there. That adds up a lot when it comes down to, you got 10 or 12 players that can go out and get a sack. If 10 of those 12 players all have 4 or 5 sacks, right then and there, we right back to where we were with the 48 sacks. So again, unless somebody turns a corner as a team and they turn around and get 75, 80 sacks, a bunch of teams start to do that, we still should be in the thick of things when it comes down to being the top 10 for defensive sacks. All right. So team defense by the numbers, okay? So 315 points allowed, 18.5 points per game. Again, so you guys see the small window, the very, very small window for error when it comes down to the Ravens. We scored 20.4. We allowed 18.5. Again, a lot of close games. That's why I said if the Ravens got one more touchdown, we could actually be 16-1. Or if the Ravens stop people a little bit more, it could still be 16-1. It was one game where we lost 27-16 against the Bengals. Other than that, every other game we was in those games, either winning it or within scoring distance. Within striking distance throughout the entire game. So the passing yards, a lot of people, look at it. Hey, we gave up a lot of yards and so forth, which we did, because the 232 yards per game is, even though it seems kind of low, because it's not like you're giving up 3 bills, but that was 26th in the NFL. That was 26th in the NFL, meaning that we give up a lot. We give up a lot in the passing game. For the running game, 1,566 yards rushing, 92 yards per game. That was third in the NFL. Again, we don't need run stoppers. We don't need a lot of run stoppers. We kind of do that already. We can do that. We do it by committee. Okay. Now, I will tell you though, if we can drop that number to the 70s, we can drop that number to the 70s. That probably would help us. That probably would help us when it comes down to the limiting the amount of plays that the opposing offense gets. So if we could shut out their run game early on and often, now we basically make them one-dimensional. So now we can turn around and try and get them off the field with our pass rush. Because again, we got a lot of different guys that can get after the rusher. That can get after the quarterback. So now anybody can become the actual blitzing linebacker or blitzing DN or whoever it may be. Anybody can kind of blitz. So with that being said, we can come from all different levels, the first level, second level, or the third level, and all get home. Okay. For the interceptions and fumble recoveries or turnovers, we had 14 interceptions. That was tied for 11. I think it was like 6 teams that had 11. Fumble recoveries, we had 11 of them. We were tied for 4th. I would have to look at the numbers again and see any of these that led to actual defensive touchdowns. I don't think many of them did. I think like 2 or 3 of them did. So that's the thing that I would like to have a little bit more of. If we have a little bit more of, that basically takes the pressure off of the offense having to get a touchdown each and every possession, or 80% of their possessions, and so forth. All right. So defense, 20 first downs per game. We were 17 in the NFL for that. So you guys see the numbers. You kind of see the picture being painted here when it comes down to what the Ravens need, what the Ravens should go after. For me, I think it should be the offensive side, because again, we're getting some defensive pieces back. We're getting some people that's going to be a little bit more healthier. You get some people that are starting to progress in their roles on the defense. And I think the defense would kind of be okay when it comes down to the sack numbers and so forth. But if there was an emphasis I need to put on the defense, we need to be trying to get more defensive touchdowns or even special team touchdowns. Something that kind of, okay, look, the offense don't need to have Herculean type of efforts each and every week to go ahead and win games, close games. We have somebody else that we can kind of lean on. All right. So a little bit more on the defensive, the passing defense overall. It's their completion percentage for them. Opposing team is 20. We are 66.72%. That's 27th in the NFL. That seems kind of high for me because again, that's basically saying, okay, when they go to pass, 66% of the time they're going to complete passes. And now again, maybe I have to dig in the numbers again and see what kind of yardage that looks like. You know, that 66% completion could be cool, but if it's a 3-yard pass most of the time, 3 times 3 is 9. So that'll put them in a 4th and 1, and most teams probably not going to go for it if they can't get more than 3 yards per play on a pass. So for me, I would have to look at those numbers and see, okay, of that 66% completion percentage, how much of that is 5 yards or more, and so forth. So red zone TDs, again, we get into the red zone, they don't really score like that. 48%, that would be 4th in the NFL. Again, I would like to see, okay, when they give up these touchdowns, what happens? Are we getting a pass rush, or is it breakdown in plays, or what? So pass play percentage, 61%. So again, teams know they really not going to run it like that. So teams are not going to just force the issue to try and run the ball down our throat. They kind of know, hey, look, if we're going to do anything, we're going to be anything against the Ravens, we got to kind of pass it to soften them up and then run it once we give them a little bit gas. So third down percentage, 36%, 4th in the NFL. So again, if you get there in a third down, you're probably not going to get it. You're probably not going to get many of them against the Ravens. So that's why it's key. What you gotta be super effective on 1st and 2nd down. If you're super effective on first and second down. Now we're talking you're at a vantage point with the third down. It's basically one down, and that basically, hey, whatever the call is, that particular call is to speed you up and get you out of your particular reads as fast as possible. And then the last stat I'm going to talk to you guys about, and then we're going to go ahead and get out of here, is the sack percentage. Sack percentage is 7.68. That would be seventh in NFL. I think the highest team was like 11 and 11.68 or something like that, 11.76. That was the Philadelphia Eagles. Do we have the defensive line like the Philadelphia Eagles? Absolutely not. Do we have some pieces that's similar to some of the players on the Philadelphia Eagles? Absolutely. So there's no reason why we can't get this up when it comes down to our sack percentages. So, all right. So let me check the comments. Let me see if anybody got anything to say. Nobody said anything yet. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, so cool. All right, so I don't have any questions for anybody. Again, if you are still here with me, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell everybody how you found me, or if you got any questions for me, please hit me up on any of my social media accounts, and then we'll go ahead and go from there. Stay tuned. I'm going to bring you guys another video, and we're going to talk about the strength of schedule. We're going to talk about power rankings, those type of things. And we're going to give a prediction for the Ravens season, provided we get some good help throughout the year. So until then, thank you guys again for all the support you've been giving me, all the support you've been showing me, and so forth. And until then, next time I see you guys, have a blessed Sunday. Peace.